Jeff, Jim, and Carmela, part number 40. Carmela and Jim arrived back in Atlanta, and chance would have it, or maybe it was not chance, Beth Stanfield was the flight attendant on the Southern airliner to Atlanta. Beth knew nothing about the workings of the intelligent world, and when she saw Jim, she assumed it was Jeff. She spoke to Jim about Gail Borland as if she was talking to Jeff. By now, Jim was accustomed to people and the mistaken identity. Jim answered Beth as if he knew what she was talking about. Beth would not have any way of knowing what had happened to Jeff. When Carmela and Jeff arrived at Carmela's Atlanta home, they were rested and back to their old selves. That night they could not stop talking about Jeff. Carmela continued to be completely honest with Jim, and he with her. The whole affair was so out of the ordinary they could not drop the subject. Carmela did an overseas phone call to her mother and dad in Istanbul to let them know they were safe and back in Atlanta. Della said she was glad she and Jim were out of the country safely, but she thought she and Jim would be traveling together. When Della said this, Carmela almost went into shock. "Why did you say that, Mother?" Carmela asked. Della displayed surprise in her voice that Carmela would ask her that question. Della began to tell Carmela about Mehmet coming to pick up the photographs you and Jim took at the wedding. When I looked out after Mehmet retrieved the photographs, I saw Jim sitting in Mehmet's government vehicle. Carmela attempted to remain calm for the rest of the conversation with Della. When Carmela hung up the phone, she was shaking, and Jim saw this, and it was the first time he saw Carmela in an uncontrollable state. He came over to Carmela and steadied her as he helped her to a chair. Carmela began to cry, and she softly said, "Jeff is alive, and Mother saw him with Mehmet." "What can we do, Jim? This is so crazy. I just want to wake up from this bad dream. The thing that places this in a different category is this. You are Jeff's identical twin brother, and I am married to both of you. You cannot make this stuff up." Jim was trying to figure out why Jeff had not contacted them, and he asked Carmela what she thought. Carmela said she did not have a clue, but knowing Jeff the way I know him, he has a good reason and will eventually reveal it to us. Jim told Carmela, "If this was unusual for her, just think about my situation. I have a twin brother I have never seen, and I am sleeping with his wife, who is also my wife. How can you find any situation more bizarre than that?" Jim tried to calm things down by saying, "Carmela, you are getting two for the price of one." Carmela laughed when Jim said this.